Aristotle was born in a small town called Stagira on the coast of ancient Greece. From the moment he could crawl, he showed a deep interest in the world around him. His mother, Phaestis, would watch him as he reached for the scrolls and herbs that lined the shelves in their simple home. His father, Nicomachus, was the personal physician to the local king. He filled the house with books and plants, and he encouraged young Aristotle to explore them. In those quiet rooms, filled with the scent of dried leaves and ink, Aristotle learned that every object could spark a question. Reading was the first step in Aristotle's journey of discovery. Each scroll he touched introduced him to new words, ideas, and feelings. When he saw the word dawn for the first time, he imagined the sun rising over the sea. When he read about a brave traveler crossing mountains, he felt a rush of excitement and wonder. Reading not only taught him the meanings of words, but also opened his mind to possibilities. It showed him that language could bring distant places and strange creatures into his thoughts. To help him remember and learn, Aristotle kept a simple journal. After every reading session, he wrote down one new word and one question about it. For example, he might write, word, sparkle. Question, why does the author use this word to describe the stars? By writing in his journal, Aristotle made each reading session an active adventure. He turned every question into a path for exploration. You can try this too. After you read, take a few minutes to note one word that you did not know and one question it brings to your mind. Over time, your journal will become a record of your own growing curiosity. Aristotle's early habit of asking questions helped him form an emotional bond with every story he read. He would sit by the shore and close his eyes, picturing the waves he had read about. He could almost hear their crash and feel the spray of salt water. When he read about a child lost in a forest, he felt the child's fear and then the relief of finding a path home. Reading gave Aristotle a way to travel far beyond Stagira, even before he left home. It made him eager to learn not only words on a page, but also the feelings and actions those words described. One of the most important lessons Aristotle learned was that reading could be a shared adventure. He would read aloud to his friends and family, pointing to each word as he pronounced it. After a passage, they would pause and talk together about what they had just heard. They asked each other, "What part surprised you?" or "Which image made you smile?" In this way, they used reading as a chance to practice speaking and listening in a safe, supportive group. You can try this idea with a reading partner. Choose a short paragraph from a simple book or article. Take turns reading a sentence aloud. After each sentence, pause to talk about what you think it means and how it makes you feel. Speaking the words helps your pronunciation, and explaining your thoughts helps you remember new phrases. You may find that a friend hears ideas you missed, and you might notice details your friend did not see at first. Aristotle's story shows how reading is more than a way to learn facts. It is a tool for growth. By reading slowly, paying attention to new words, and asking questions, you open doors to larger worlds. By sharing your reading with others, you turn learning into a social adventure. Every scroll Aristotle touched taught him something new, and every question he wrote in his journal became a step along his lifelong path of discovery. If you want to follow Aristotle's example, start today. Find a book or short article that interests you. Read a paragraph or two, then write down a new word and a question about it. Talk about what you read with a friend or family member. Notice how your curiosity grows and how your confidence in English builds. Like Aristotle, you can let simple readings guide you toward deeper understanding and a richer life of learning. Remember, reading is the spark that lights every great idea, and your journey is only just beginning. At 17, Aristotle stepped away from the quiet streets of Stagira and began a long journey to Athens. He carried a simple bag slung over his shoulder and a small notebook filled with questions he had collected from his early readings. As he walked along dusty paths, he thought about the stories he had read at home and wondered what new knowledge awaited him in the grand city. For anyone learning English, this moment is like opening a challenging book for the first time. It may feel hard at first, but each sentence you read builds your strength and skill. When Aristotle reached Athens, he discovered that every sign, every market stall, and every school door carried words written in unfamiliar letters. In the same way, learners may find longer articles or news stories to be more difficult than simple children's tales. Yet those challenges help us grow. The more we practice reading new and hard texts, the more our confidence grows. Very soon, sentences that once seemed confusing begin to make sense, and you realize you have climbed a new level of understanding. In Athens, Aristotle moved from reading simple scrolls at home to attending lectures at Plato's academy. He learned that different kinds of texts could teach him different things. A short letter from a friend gave him ideas about daily life. A speech by a visiting visitor taught him new ways to argue and persuade. A myth about a hero's journey showed him how to feel strong emotions through words. You can use this same approach. After reading a short dialogue or scene from a story, try to transform it into a modern text message conversation. Write each line as if friends were texting each other. This exercise helps you see how ideas move across different formats and makes the language feel alive. At first, Aristotle felt nervous when he entered the academy courtyard. His heart pounded at the sound of other students speaking quickly about ideas he had only seen in books. But he found courage by reading passages aloud to himself before joining the group. He noticed that speaking the words helped him remember them better. If you feel shy about reading in front of others, you can practice with a friend or record yourself on your phone. Each time you read aloud, you gain a little more confidence. Soon, you will find that your voice is strong and clear, and you will no longer be afraid to share what you read. To keep track of his growing vocabulary, Aristotle invented a simple reading map. He drew a chart on a piece of parchment, marking each new word he learned and the page where he found it. Over time, this map grew into a colorful guide showing where each word lived in his favorite books. You can make your own map on paper or in a notebook. Draw a circle for each book or article and write new words around the edge. Use arrows to link words that are related. When you see patterns, like certain words that appear often, you will remember them more easily. Celebrate each map milestone as a step forward in your learning. After finishing a chapter or an article, Aristotle liked to write a short reflection. He asked himself 3 simple questions. What part surprised me? Which sentence felt beautiful? Which word tested me the most? He wrote his answers in English, even if his teacher had to correct his mistakes. This reflection helped him think deeply about what he read and practice writing in a safe space. You can do the same. Share your reflections with a friend or post them in an online group for English learners. You might find that others notice details you missed, and you will learn from their ideas as well. Aristotle also wrote letters back to his family in Stagira, describing the grand halls of the academy and the lively debates of his classmates. He used simple sentences and clear words so that his mother and father could understand his new world. You too can write short emails or voice messages to friends or family in English. Tell them about a story you read or a new word you learned. When you explain your reading to someone else, you practice using English in real life and build your speaking and writing muscles at the same time. By following Aristotle's example of moving from simple scrolls to rich stories and challenging texts, you will find your own path to fluency. Each new article you read, each dialogue you transform, each sentence you speak aloud, and each reflection you share brings you one step closer to mastering English. Remember that every reader begins somewhere, and every journey starts with a single page. As you embrace the challenge, your confidence will grow, and your ability to understand and enjoy English stories will shine more brightly each day. Happy reading. Aristotle spent his life reading, asking questions, and sharing what he learned. More than 2,000 years later, his example still shows us why reading matters today. When we open a book or a simple article, we follow in Aristotle's footsteps. We connect the past to our present lives. Reading about ancient ideas teaches us how people long ago thought, felt, and lived. At the same time, reading modern stories and news helps us understand our own world more clearly. Reading builds important skills that reach far beyond language. When we read a news report, we learn to sort facts from opinions. This critical thinking skill helps us make better decisions every day. When we read a folk tale from another country, we gain insight into different cultures, discovering traditions and values we might never otherwise know. This cultural understanding makes us more open and respectful toward others. When we read about a character facing challenges, we feel what they feel. We learn empathy, the ability to understand someone else's emotions. Empathy guides us in relationships at home, at school, and at work. To make these benefits real, try a simple activity. After you finish a story or an article, choose one character or person you read about. Write a short paragraph in English explaining how that character's experience made you feel and why. For example, if you read about a student who moves to a new city, you might write, "I felt nervous when Maria arrived in Athens because I remember my first day at school." This reflection will help you practice writing and deepen your emotional connection to the text. Aristotle believed in lifelong learning. You can honor that belief by setting a daily reading goal. Start with just 10 minutes each night. Choose a book, a short story, or an article that interests you. Keep a simple calendar and mark each day you read. Even small, steady steps lead to big progress. Over time, you will notice that you recognize more words, understand more ideas, and feel more confident speaking and writing in English. Reading can also be a social experience. Imagine a small book club where friends meet once a week, either in person or online. Each person reads a short passage before the meeting. During the gathering, you take turns sharing what surprised you, what inspired you, and which words you found difficult. You celebrate efforts with simple encouragement. "Great question," or "I loved your reflection." A book club gives you a sense of community and holds you accountable. It reminds you that learning is a shared journey. Finally, remember to celebrate your milestones. Every new word learned, every paragraph understood, every reflection written is worth recognizing. You might share your progress with your reading partner or post a short note in an online group. You could award yourself a small reward, a favorite snack, or a relaxing break after finishing a challenging text. These small celebrations keep your motivation strong. Aristotle taught that knowledge unlocks possibility. By reading each day, reflecting on what you learn, and sharing your discoveries with others, you carry forward his legacy. Reading empowers you to think clearly, understand deeply, and connect meaningfully with the world. In that spirit, let your own journey of reading be an adventure of growth, curiosity, and lasting impact. happy reading. Aristotle's life shows us how one person's curiosity can change the world. He began as a small boy in Stagira, picking up simple scrolls and asking why. His questions led him to Athens, where he read more, studied under Plato, and explored new ideas. He taught a young prince named Alexander, traveled and observed nature, and finally returned to Athens to open his own school, the Lyceum. There, he walked with students, wrote books on logic, science, ethics, and politics, and inspired generations. Over many years, Aristotle never stopped learning. He believed that knowledge comes from reading, observing, and asking questions. He classified plants and animals, studied how governments work, and explored what makes people happy. Even when politics drove him from Athens, he continued to write and teach until the end of his life. His work lived on after his death, shaping science and philosophy for centuries. From Aristotle's story, we learn a powerful lesson. Lifelong learning is the key to growth. Reading opens doors to new worlds, and curiosity leads us forward. No matter your age or background, you can follow Aristotle's example by reading every day, writing down questions, and sharing your ideas with others. Simple steps: 10 minutes of reading, keeping a question journal, joining a small book club, can build your confidence in English and in life. In our busy world, it can be hard to find time to read or to stay curious. Yet, by making a small habit of reading, you can improve your vocabulary, your critical thinking, and your empathy for others. When you read a story, you practice understanding feelings and cultures beyond your own. When you ask why, you keep your mind active and open. When you share what you learn, you connect with friends, family, and new learners around the world. Congratulations! By listening to Aristotle's story, you have taken a step towards stronger English listening and reading skills. Now let's see how well you grasped the main lesson. What is the most important lesson from Aristotle's life? A. Always follow formal schooling without question. B. Keep reading, stay curious, and learn every day. Please type A or B in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story and want more helpful content, please subscribe to our channel. Your subscription gives us the encouragement to keep creating free lessons for learners like you. If you would like to support our work, consider donating to help cover our costs. In the early days, making high-quality content can be difficult, and your donation pays for research, editing, and production. We do this for you, without charge, to help you learn English. Thank you for your support, and happy learning.